In preparing our paper for the midterm project, we chose to interview for the stadium coordinator position with the Chicago Bulls in the United Center. In this position, we will be responsible for the overall facility operations at the United Center, a privately owned arena that is operated within the state of Illinois. We addressed the following areas: facility, hazards, staff and spectators, players and participants, and equipment. With respect to facility management, we chose to focus on issues that could arise in the facility having to do with playing surface safety. The legal issue we chose to utilize to help develop our managerial plan deals with proximate cause. Our managerial plan to combat lawsuits stemming from playing surface safety and help us to manage a safe facility would include interviews with players and coaches with regards to current floor conditions, creating a maintenance checklist to ensure timely inspection of the floor, conducting follow-up interviews with players and coaches after new initiatives have been implemented to discover if the new practices are sufficient. In order to effectively manage hazards as a stadium coordinator, we utilize the legal concept of primary assumption of risk to help develop a managerial strategy. Part of our managerial process included making sure that our ticket stubs provided spectators with the proper amount of legal language so that they would know what risks are inherent to attending an event at the United Center. Eliminate liability by ensuring our legal policies are current, create legal checklists to ensure compliance with Illinois state law, interface with legal departments to maintain an open channel of communication that would allow us to stay ahead of upcoming legislation and practice proactive policies instead of reactive policies to state law. We feel that as stadium coordinator, we need to be prepared for the legal ramifications of a liability issue so that we can protect ourselves from monetary loss. In managing staff and spectators, we bring into focus the managing the liability issue because it is important in the way that it affects our reputation in the eye of the public, because that has an impact on our revenue. The best way to combat the liability issue is to obtain liability insurance. There are two types of liability insurance. General liability insurance protects the company from financial losses which occur as a result of employee negligence. Employment practices liability insurance protects from claims like wrongful termination, in which a claimant can allege that they were released by a company on conditions which were not based on job performance. The last topic that we discussed with respect to spectators and staff deals with the Americans with Disabilities Act. It applies to the United Center under Title III, which is a portion of the Act that addresses public accommodations and services provided by private entities. As stadium coordinator, we want to ensure that all staff and spectators will never be denied access to the United Center based on a disability, and that each of the handicap facilities within the arena will be held to the same standards as those which are available to fans without disabilities. An important job as stadium coordinator is to ensure the safety, rights, and protections of all players and participants that enter the arena. Several different topics are included when it comes to players and participants. Those topics include drug use, contracts, medical responsibilities, arena rules, and security. With respect to a managerial program to handle these topics, we would include imposition of drug testing for each player in accordance with the World Anti-Doping Association regulations. We would provide players with an informational packet explaining why they are being tested. We would require that the distribution of medications to players be performed by an authorized member of our medical staff only. And we would conduct routine inspections of all medications and first aid kits and medical devices throughout the arena. In terms of stadium coordinator responsibilities as they relate to contracts, we would manage this area of our job by ensuring that legal counsel is inspecting and approving all contract agreements. Legal department is actively managing all aspects of the NBA's collective bargaining agreements, and that the legal department is ensuring that we are conducting proper legal practices when it comes to our relations with players and agents. As stadium coordinator, we developed a plan that provides the arena with coverage in terms of the medical records and the plans to be used in the event of a medical emergency. This plan includes such measures as collecting medical records of each player, medical and emergency plans being distributed to all of our players, physical forms and waivers signed by all players, and concussion testing by each player. It is the stadium coordinator's responsibility to make sure that the teams that enter our arena abide by the rules set in place by the commissioner of their respective leagues. Additionally, we must also ensure that players and participants act in accordance with state law. As stadium coordinator, it is our duty to be aware of conduct policies that threaten the integrity of the events held in our arena. As such, it is imperative that we post team rules and regulations throughout the arena it is necessary for us to provide a copy of league and state rules as they apply to players and participants at our events. Prior to each season or event, depending on the nature of the event, a thorough review of the rules will be conducted and players and participants will be asked to sign a waiver acknowledging that they have been provided with the rules of the arena. These types of reviews will be conducted by a member of our arena security, and all paperwork with regards to these meetings will be kept on file for a period mandated by state law. In accordance with security policies, I will work with security directors to ensure that we are placing our security in the proper places throughout the arena. We will also make sure that players are abiding by rules that help us to maintain a safe and secure event. Players need to conduct themselves in an appropriate manner on the court and on the bench. Players will be prohibited from stimulating or encouraging crowd disorder. Players must refrain from profane language and lewd gestures. And players must follow the proper procedures when reporting to the locker room during halftime and at post-game. With respect to the equipment in our arena, we will make it a priority to maintain NBA standards in terms of safety required by the league, and we will ensure that we are in compliance with Illinois state law in terms of advocating a safe workplace for our players and fans. We need to maintain our arena in such a way that the possibility of injuries are eliminated and that players, staff, and fans can work and attend our events at the United Center in complete safety. This is a multi-department task, and the one that we want as stadium coordinator that we want addressed immediately. As stadium coordinator, we will be the point person for the facilities department. We want daily emails from directors of all other departments with regards to the safety of our equipment. This is non-negotiable and is something that will be documented and stored on and off site to ensure that in the event of an accident, we are prepared with the proper documentation to back our position in a court of law. There is no area in the arena that is off limits to safety checks on a daily basis. Some examples of the items that we want checked and changed if necessary are the hoops and backboards, railing and second and third tier balconies, seating, and press row accommodations. These are a few hot button items that we would like addressed immediately, and we would like to be brought up to speed with respect to the history of these areas in the United Center so that we may better handle these areas moving forward. As stadium coordinators, we are responsible for all aspects of the facility operation, and we feel that the paper covered all of the different areas that we must manage. Part of our job is ensuring that we are protected against lawsuits. In performing our job functions, it is critical for us to know that our views on facility management parallel the views of our employers so that we're on the same page in terms of how to operate the facility. In the event that we do not agree on these critical items, it would be imperative that we do not commence our employment with the United Center. However, if the United Center feels as strongly about managing these issues as we do, then it would be our desire to gain employment with the organization and work to maintain the best facility in the country.